Hi everyone, welcome back to the 8th part of our thread clone tutorial. So in this session, we'll be implementing a comment, right? So we can just make a comment to a thread post. So if you haven't watched the previous 7-part series of this tutorial, I've linked them down in the description below so you can check them out, right? So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Yeah, so in here, I'll just cut this thread message widget and put it in a separate file, right? So within the lib folder, I'll be creating a new folder. That's going to be called the widget. So within the widget folder is going to be a new file. The name of the file is going to be a thread message file. So thread message dot dat. So I just paste in here. So we need to import our material.dat to fix the error, and also bring in our thread message model over here, and also our Firebase out. There we go. So let's save in the changes and import where we need to import our thread message widget. So within our feed screen, we need to import this thread message widget, and also within the profile screen, we need to do same as well and import that. There we go. So within the feed screen, let's add functionality to this thread message widget, right? So let's wrap it an ink wall, right? So that behaves as a button. So it has on top. So basically that's going to be the function that will get called when the thread message widget is tapped. So when you tap on a particular message, you want to navigate to the comment screen, right? And to do that, we use navigator.push. So it takes in the context and also the route. And the route is going to be a material page route that takes in the builder. So in here, the builder is basically a function that takes in the context and returns a page. So in here, we'll be navigating to the comment screen. It's not yet created, so I'll be creating it sooner. So I head to my screen folder and create a new file within the screen folder. I'm going to name this file as the comment screen. So basically this screen is going to show the comments, right? So for now, let's generate a stateful widget over here and rename that to comment screen. There we go. So let's return a scaffold for now. So in my feed.dat, we need to import this comment screen, right, to get rid of the errors. There we go. So let's give it a try. When you tap on a particular thread message widget, right, you're supposed to navigate to the comment screen. So first of all, let's pass in the message to the comment screen, right, the message of the sender, and let's get rid of the cons in here. So we need to require that within the feed comment screen as well, right? So I will do that over here. So require this dot message and proceed by creating an instance of the message, right? So the return type is going to be a thread message. It's supposed to be a final thread message. There we go. So when you tap on a particular thread message, you can see we've been navigated to the comment screen, right? Nothing is found there yet. So let's save in the changes over here. And let's try to work within the comment screen, right? So let's try to pass this message to the comment screen since we have the message over here. So in the scaffold, let's return an app bar. And the app bar takes in the app bar widget, right? So within the app bar, we can start with the title, right? And the title is going to be a test widget with a test of a thread. And also let's set the elevation to 0. So let's change the background of this app bar, right? So with the background property, you can set the color to be white. And also let's set the color of the text to be black. So with the style attribute, you can assign the text style, passing in the color. So you can assign colors that's black. Let's save the changes. There we go. So the body of this scaffold is going to return a single child scroll view, right? We want this view to be scrollable. So the child of this single child scroll view is going to be a column, right? And that basically aligns its widget vertically. So within the children of this column, we're actually going to return a thread message widget, right? You need to pass in the thread message widget. That is in the message, the unlike on dislike as well. So with the message, you can just pass in our widget.message since we have the message being passed in over here. And for now, we can just set the unlike and also the undislike to a function, an empty function over here. So once you have this, you can see it just reflects over there, right? So let's give some enough padding around this thread message widget. So we can actually wrap this column within a padding widget. And this padding is going to affect all size, a value of 8. You can see it shifts a bit. I think this looks cool. So we now have our comment screen, right, with the sender's details. When you tap on a particular comment post, you can see that particular post being displayed, right? So you actually need to display the list of comments below that particular post. So that's the next step. So within our thread message model, so let's move into our thread message model, right, and add the comments field. So basically it's going to be a list of comments similar to the likes, and let's proceed to require that in the constructor as well. So require this dot comments. Also to map field, you need to add a comment, and from map it's going to be similar to the likes. So it's supposed to be comments. So I'll copy that over here, changing the comment list from, so map of comments, that's going to be as a list. So within the feed screen, you actually need to pass in the comments as well, right? Since we just added to the thread message model. So in here, you need to pass in the comments. So that's going to be from our message data. Then we access the comments field. If that's not available, you can just set it to an empty string. You can do that. Let's do that within the profile screen as well. So with the comments field, you can just assign the message data to comments. At the top over here, you also need to pass in the comments as well. That's going to be from our message data. Then access the comments field. If that's not available, you can set it to an empty array. So let's provide this empty array in case you don't have any comments. So let's auto restart. There we go. So let's add functionality to the comment button. So when that is clicked, it pop up the sliding up panel. So that should be the next step. So let's wrap this single child scroll view within a widget, and just let's rename this widget to the sliding up panel. So we need to change the child over here to a body, and also it is in the controller where you pass in a panel controller, right? So first of all, you need to create an instance of this panel controller. That's going to be panel controller. Then the variable name is going to be panel controller. So this is the way you create an instance. You can then pass down the panel controller, and let's set the main height to 0 and also a max height, right? We want the panel controller to be 90% of the screen. So we use the media query dot of context dot size. Then we can access the height field. Then we multiply by that by 0.9. So that basically gives us 90% of the screen. So once you have that, let's provide it a border radius, right? So this border radius is only going to affect the top left and also the top right of the sliding up panel. So border radius dot only, passing the top left, is going to be radius dot circular and provide a value of 25. So we'll be doing same to the top right, right? It's going to be a top right passing the same value, saving the changes over here. And also we need to pass in the panel builder. So this is basically a function that is in the scroll controller. And returns a widget, right? So in here, we are going to return the post comment screen. Here you actually be posting our comment, right? So for now, it's not yet created, but I'll be creating it sooner, right? So you need to return the post comment screen. So I'll create a screen within my screen folder. I'm going to name this file as the post screen.dat. So in here, let's generate a stateful widget over here and rename the to my post comment screen. So let's change the placeholder to a scaffold for now. So within our feed screen, you can just import the post comment screen as well. There you go. So you can actually, so let's add functionality to the comment button to pop up the sliding up panel, right? So within the thread message widget, we need to add functionality to this press button to pop up the sliding up panel. And to do that, we need to bring in the panel controller, right? So we need to bring in the panel controller over here and pass that down over there. So when the comment button is pressed, you need to pop up the sliding up panel, right? So we can make use of the panel controller variable, which has the open method on it. So panel controller.open. Then we pass in a function that's going to handle our comment. That's going to be on comment. So once we do that, we need to create a variable of return type function and require that in the thread message widget, similar to the unlike and also on dislike. And that's going to throw error within the feed screen and also the profile screen, right? Since we are requiring this, we need to pass that to the feed screen as well. So let's do something over here before moving to the feed screen. So let's wrap this icon button within a column, right? So below the icon button is going to be a text field similar to the likes as well. So we base on our message.comment. If it's empty, we don't want to show the 0. Else we want to show the number of comments. And that's going to be our message.comments.length. Then we convert that to a string, right? So that's just to align these icons, right? We'll be doing same for the retweet and also the send icon. So I'll be wrapping that within a column and provide a text widget, right? So for now, we'll just set it to an empty string over here. And lastly, you need to wrap this icon button within a column, right? Below that is going to be a text with an empty string. So this will basically align the icons. So this thread message widget takes in the on comment, which we just pass in. So for now, let's set it to an empty function over here. We need to do the same within our profile, where we are actually returning our thread message widget. We need to pass the on comment in here, and also within the comment screen, we also need to pass that down. So let's give it a try. So within the thread message, we wouldn't be creating an instance, right? You need to require that in a thread message widget. So in here, it's supposed to be this way. You need to pass that the panel controller to the constructor so that we can make use of the widget.panel controller. Oh yeah. So in here, you can pass the panel controller to the thread message widget, the file we are returning the thread message widget. So we need to pass that down over here. So within our comment screen, we'll be doing the same. pass in our panel controller. So to pass in the panel controller over here, you actually need to pass that down over here. So I'll pass in the panel controller within the comment screen. So in my comment screen, you need to require this dot panel controller and create an instance below. So we can pass that down over here. I think that should be it. Let's give it a try. There we go. So when you click on a particular icon, it pops up the sliding up panel, right? So let's proceed. So we are going to have similar header to this post screen, right? So I will just copy that from the post screen, starting from the padding. So I'll be ending below the divider. So I'll just copy that. So within my comment screen, within my post screen, the post comment screen rather, we'll be returning this. We'll be returning a column with the children in that I'll just paste in. So first of all, let's comment this controller out, and also the onPress. Let's set it to an empty function. There we go. Right, so in here let's change in the new thread to reply. And saving the changes. There we go. So let's proceed. So in here we actually need the sender details, right? And also we also need the currently user information, right? So there's going to be a function that will return our user model, and this function is going to fetch our user data. And also we also need the sender details as well. So there's also going to be another function that will get us the sender details. And finally, we also be implementing a function in posting a comment, right? So I'll be creating another function over here. So the return type is going to be void, and the function name is going to be post comment. So these are the three functions we'll be implementing. So in fetching the user data, right? So first of all, let's bring in the users collection. So final collection reference, and the variable name is going to be the user collection. And that's going to be from our Firebase Firestore .instance.collection, and the collection name is going to be users. So once we have our users collection over here, within our fetch user data, so let's also bring in the thread collection as well. We'll be using it. So the collection name is going to be threads. So within the fetch user data, we'll be using try catch block. So within the try block, we create a user document. We extract the user document, and that's going to be from our thread collection. Our user collection .doc, passing in our currently user, right? So we need to bring our current user over here. So I'll create a variable that will hold the current user, right? And the variable name is going to be current user. So the way we access our current user is from our Firebase auth.instance.current user. So once we have our current user over here, we can just pass that down and access the ID field, passing in within the document, and also will get that particular current user document. So with the get method, we can have access to the user document. Then we proceed to return the user. So I'll create a user variable using our user model. We have from map method, right? So we can access our data from our user documents .data. So this data comes as a map of string and dynamic. and we convert that and assign it to a user variable. Since the return type is going to be a user model, we can simply just return the user, which comes in the form of the user model. So let's await. So we can just return our user over here. So within the catch block, you can just read through the error. So that's basically the functionality in fetching the user data, right? That's the current user data. I want to display it over here. And also, let's change the return type of this to be the thread message, right? And in getting the sender detail, we'll be using try catch as well. So in here, I'll be creating the sender document variable, and we await look through our thread collection .doc. Then we pass in an ID, that thread ID. So I can see we don't have the thread ID over here. You can actually have access to the thread ID within the feed screen and pass that down to the comment screen as well. And to do that, I'll move into my feed screen. So within the feed screen, I'll be creating a variable and initially assign an empty string to it, right? So the variable name is going to be a thread doc. So initially it's going to be an empty string. And where are you going to get access to this thread document, right? And that's basically going to found. So that's basically going to be within our on comment, right? So once we hit the on comment, we are going to set state and assign the ID to the thread document. So once we hit on the on comment, we set state, updating the thread document to be our messages of its index.id, and this brings us the individual ID of each thread message. So that's basically it. We pass in a message of its index.id. So once you have our thread document over here, you can just pass that down to our post comment screen. So you can get rid of these cons over here and require that. So within our post document screen, you can require this .thread doc and also create an instance over here. So for now, the return type is going to be a string thread document. So once we have access to our thread document, we can just pass that down over here by using widget.thread doc. Then we get that thread document. Since we have access to the thread document, let's check if our thread document exists. So if our thread document doesn't exist, we can actually since the return type is going to be a thread message over there, right? You can return a thread message passing in an empty string to each field, right? So I'll be doing something different over here. So within my thread message model, right, I'll be creating a factory method over here. That's going to be empty. So factory thread message dot empty. So this is basically going to return a thread message, setting an empty field to each of these fields, right? So the ID is going to be an empty string. The sender name is also going to be an empty string. The sender profile image URL, same. The timestamps, the likes is going to be an empty array. The comment is also going to be an empty array. So since the return type of this is going to be supposed to be a datetime, so let's initially assign it to be a datetime.now. So we can make use of this thread message factory method, right, which is empty. So in our post comment screen, if our sender document doesn't exist, you can just return our thread message.empty. If it exists over here, we can just access the data of this sender, right? And to do that, we use the sender document.data, and this comes as a map of string and dynamic. So we now have our sender data. We can just access the sender name by moving into our sender data and access the name, the sender field, right? So this will bring us the sender name. That will come as a string. We can also have access to the sender image URL and also the message as well. So with the message, you can just pass in the message and that comes as a string as well. You can also have access to the ID. So the ID of each thread message point towards a user, right? So we have all these fields. So let's make use of this ID to retrieve the sender information, right? So I'll be creating a user document over here, moving into our users collection, the document, passing the ID, then we can get that user document. So since we now have our user document, you can just access the name and also the image URL as well, right? So to get the user data, you can make use of our user document .data, and this comes as a map of string and dynamic, right? There you go. So what are the things we need over here, right? We want the image of the sender, right? So we can just grab the image URL from our user data. So the field is supposed to be the profile image URL, and that comes as a string. So we also need to return this thread message widget, right? So you need to pass in the ID, the sender name. So with the sender profile image URL, that's going to be the image URL, and the timestamp is supposed to be datetime.now. The likes field is going to be an empty array. The comments field is going to be an empty array. So that's basically it. So we can just debug print the error in case we have an error. So that's going to be error fetching sender details. And basically we can just return our thread message.empty since the return type is supposed. So what we're doing here, in getting the sender details, we pass in our thread document ID. That will get our sender document. Then we retrieve the data, access the name of the sender, the message, and also the ID. And this ID is associated with the user. We use that ID as well to get the user's information. Then we have access to the user email, image URL. Then make use of that and pass that down and return the thread message result. So let's move on to the last functionality. That's the posting of comments, right? So in posting comments, so let's start with a try catch over here. So in our try block, we await our thread collection .doc, passing the widget .thread doc document. Then we update a field, the comments field. So we need to update the comments field. So this is how the comment is going to be structured, right? Going to be field value dot array union. We can have a list of comments, right? That comes as an array. So in the array field, you'll be having an object with an ID field, and this ID will be coming from our current user who is commenting, right? So you can just pass in the current user dot UID, and also we need to access the comment as well. So that's going to be the text field within the comments. So this will actually be coming from our comment controller.text. It's not yet created, so I'll be creating it at the top over there. So it's supposed to be our comment controller.text. So I'll be creating a text editing controller. So comment controller, and that's going to be from our text editing controller. You also need to pass the timestamp as well, right? So that's going to be the last thing over here, timestamp. So timestamp dot now, then we convert that to a date. So in our catch block, you can just print out the error using the debug print. So error.string. So that would be the functionality in posting in the comments, right? So since we have all these functionalities, let's proceed by building the UI while implementing it as well. We also have our comments being added over here. So let's start building. Below the divider is going to be a column, and this column takes in the children, right? So the first child of this column is going to be the future builder. That comes with the future and also the builder. So the future, we are going to get our sender details, and the builder takes in the context and also the snapshot. So the snapshot in here is what actually holds the data. So in here we need to check the state of the snapshot. If our snapshot doesn't has data, so if it doesn't have data over here, you can return a circular progress indicator widget. So if it has data, you can just create a variable of the sender and assign the snapshot of data to the sender variable, right? So in here we'll be returning a column over here. In this column, is going to return the list style, right? So the list style takes in the leading. That's going to be the first widget you are going to see. So we pass in a circular avatar that is in the background image. So this image is going to be a network image since we are going to access it from our Firebase. So we pass in our sender dot profile image URL. So the list also takes in the title. So in here we'll be displaying the sender name over here. So let's start this test. So with the style attribute, you can assign the text style and change the font size to 14. So the list also takes in the subtitle, and that comes below the title, right? So that's basically also going to be a text widget displaying the message, right? So let's proceed to start this as well. So let's set the color to black. There we go. You can see it appears over there, right, with the username and also the message over there. So below the list is going to be a sizer box, and the height is going to be 40. So the child of this sizer, box is going to be a vertical divider. So the color, let's set to be colors.gray, gray 400. So So let's proceed to set a width to 5 and also provide it thickness value of 1.5 and also an indent of 0 and indent to be 0, as you can see over there. So let's wrap this as a box within a padding, and this padding is going to affect it horizontal, so it's going to be symmetric. So we provide a horizontal value of 30, and let's set a so let's proceed to give this column a cross axis alignment, and that's going to be cross axis alignment dot start. There we go. So below the padding is going to be the current user who's about to comment, right? So that's going to be similar to this list style. So I just grab this list style and paste it over here. So let me save in the changes and see how it's supposed to look like, right? So you can have the sender information similar over here. So the subtitle is going to return a text form field. So that's actually an input field to submit your comment. So with the controller, you can just pass in the comment controller. And also let's provide some decoration over here. So with the input decoration, you can just provide a hint text. The hint text can be replied to. And also let's proceed to set provide it a hint star, right, by reducing the size of this hint text placeholder, right? So I can just provide a font size to be 13 and saving the changes. We don't want the underlying input border, right? So let's set the border to be none. So with the border argument, you can just provide the input border dot none. There we go. How cool is this? So we actually need to bring in the current user information over here, right? So I'll wrap this list style in a future builder, right? So let's rename this to a future builder. So this in the future and also the builder. So with the future, I can just provide it the function that will just fetch our user data, right? The current user data, and proceed by checking the state of the snapshot. So if our snapshot that has data, let's check the opposite of that. You actually be returning a circular progress indicator. Let's assign the snapshot data to this user variable, right? So you can make use of it. So in our network image, you actually be returning our user dot the username. Sorry, you actually need the user profile image URL. It's not supposed to be the username. Sorry, the user profile image URL. So if this is not available, you can just set it to an empty string to get rid of the errors. And also here is where we can actually provide it a username. So you can just show the person you are replying to, right? So here you can pass in the sender name. Let's get rid of the cons in here and saving the changes. You can see you are replying to query Dakwa. So I need to check this. There we go, replying to Dakwa. How cool is this? So let's add functionality to the cancel button. There we go. So let's add functionality to the cancel button to close the panel, right? So we need to bring in the panel controller. So we need to pass that down to the post comment screen. So in our post comment screen, require this .panel controller. Then we proceed by creating an instance variable of this panel controller. So we can make use of this panel controller by calling the widget.panelcontroller.close. So let's give it a try. There we go. So you can just pop up a panel and cancel the panel, right? So in posting the comment, once we have successful posting of the comment, we need to clear the comment and also close the panel as well, right? So comment controller.clear, we need to clear the text and also use our widget.panelController and close the panel. So that's basically it. Then we need to pass the post comment function over here. There we go. Let's save in the changes. So let's give it a try. So I'll just comment it. So this is my first comment, right? So this is my first comment. So let's hit on post. Boom, there we go. You can see it's increased by 1. And when you check within our thread, you can see our comment field has been added, right? That it comes with the ID, the text, and also the time. So the next step is to actually show the comments under this thread post, right? So in our comment screen, that's the next thing to do. So below this thread message is going to be the comments associated with this thread message, right? So we need to bring that from our Firebase. So we need to create a function that will fetch the user who just make a comment related to this thread post, right? So the function name is going to be fetch user data that takes in an ID. So here we'll be using try catch, right? First of all, let's get a user document, right? So we await Firebase Firestore .instance .collection of users .snapshot. Sorry, .document. Then we pass in the ID .snapshot. There's no need of this await since we are using stream. Then we can return the user document .map. We can have access to the document and make use of our user model .from map, right? So the document can just have access to the data that comes as a map of string and dynamic. So that's basically the functionality in getting the user data. So within the catch block, we can just read through. So in here, let's bring in our thread collection. So that's our Firebase Firestore instance collection of threads. There you go. So below this thread message widget, right? That's supposed to be the comment related to this thread post. So we'll be returning a stream builder. that comes to the stream and also the builder. The stream is going to listen to a function, and that's where you provide it our thread collection dot document, passing in our widget dot thread id. Sorry, our thread document. So you need to grab the document of these thread messages, right? So let's actually bring in this thread document. So that's where you make use of this. So we need to pass in a thread id over here. So this thread id will be coming from our messages of its index.id. So we need to pass that to the comment screen. So in our comment screen, you can just require this dot thread id and create an instance of that. So we can make use of this thread id. So thread collection.doc, then we pass in our widget.thread id. So the builder takes in the context and also the snapshot. So in here, let's check the state of the snapshot. So we need to pass that thread id dot snapshot. So if our snapshot dot has data, if it doesn't have data, you are going to return a circular progress indicator. If it indeed has data, we can just return assign the snapshot of data to the data variable we just created, and that comes as a map of string and dynamic. So below that, I'll be creating a comment variable. Then you can just access the comments field within the data, right? That comes as a list. We check the state of the comment. If that's not equal to null, if it's equal to null, we are going to return a text with an empty string displaying nothing. If that's not equal to null, we're going to return a list view builder, right? Displaying the list of comments. So the list view builder comes with the item builder that is in the context and also the index, and returns a widget. So in here, let's set the shrink wrap to true, and also the item count is going to be our comments dot length. So in here, we'll be returning stream builder. The stream is going to fetch our user data. We need to pass in the ID. That's going to be our comment. Then we pass in the ID, and also the builder is going to take in the context and also the snapshots. So in here, let's check for the state of the snapshot. If our snapshot doesn't have data, you can actually return a circular progress indicator. We can also check if our snapshot has an error. We can return a test displaying the error. So in here, we can get our data back, right? So I'll be creating a variable user, then assign a snapshot of data to the user. So I'll create a message variable over here. That's going to return our thread message. We need to pass in the ID. So the ID will be coming from our comments. Then we can access the ID field. The sender name is going to be our user.name. The profile image URL is going to be our user.profile image URL. If that's not available, we can just set it to an empty string. And the message of the comment is going to be our comment. Then you access the text field. The timestamp, you come back to that. So the likes and the comments initially is going to be an empty array. So in here you can so let's first of all come to the timestamp, right? So with the timestamp, actually you need to get the individual comments, right? So I need to do that. So we can just pass the index of our comments. So here need to be a single comment and also a single message, right? So you need to fix that. And also I'll be creating a variable of timestamp, right? That's going to be of the date time. So initially it's going to be datetime.now. Then we proceed by checking if our comment dot contains. So you can have comment dot contains key. Then we pass in the field, right? The field is time. If it contains the time field key, and also that time field key is not equal to null. If that's not equal to null, you can just proceed to update the timestamp, right? We don't want the timestamp to be null. So you can set the timestamp to be a comment of the time. We access the time field. That comes as a timestamp. Then we convert that to a date. You can just provide this timestamp to the timestamp over here. So let's make use of this message variable, right? So we actually need to return a widget. So when you take a clear look, it's just a nested post, right? So you can just return a thread message widget. So with the unlike, on dislike, on comment, and a panel controller, you can just set it to this as default, right? So let's hot restart and see. So this needs to be the comment of the ID, not the comments, right? So let's also restart again. There we go. So you can see the comments below 29 minutes ago. So here I can just proceed by making a comment, right? So hi there. So I can post this comment. You can see the comment increased by 2 and it's being shown over here. How cool is this? There we go. Let's make another comment. Hello. Let's post this comment. So that's basically it. See you in our next tutorial. Until then, stay tuned.